The content of this channel is for mature audiences. Parental discretion is advised. You're tuned in to the Green Gorilla channel. Please make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell notification button. And please, feel free to share the video. Thank you.
Greetings, people. What's happening? You know what it is, man. I'm GG, man. You're tuned in to the Green Gorilla channel, the place where black men can express themselves freely, straight up, with no chasers. First things first, man. Shout out to all the haters. I know there's some out there. You know, that's just part of the territory. It comes with the domain. It is what it is, man. But peace out to y'all, man. And if you haven't done so already, man, make sure you hit that like button, man. From what I understand, it's a lot of people observing, but they never like the video. You know? And, you know, that puts me down in the algorithm, man. If you like the content, like the video. And also, if you like the content, subscribe to the channel. Hit the bell notification button. All that good stuff, man, so you can stay on top of what's cracking on the Green Gorilla channel, man. Not only that, you know, I gotta give a shout out to all the members of the Green Gorilla channel, as I always do. To give them, you know, some honors for their support of my content and helping me to keep this thing here going, man. So, let's do that, man. Shout out to J. Cleveland Green, Brotherly Love 215, Gold Professor, Seventh Coast Dojo, Lee Ways, AKs and Curtains, Press Start, H-Town, Rogish the Billmonger, and Lord Hamal. Big up to y'all. Big up to number 4, Adrian Thomas, Electrician 480, Gabinga O, Cutting Up with the Jones, Zanco 1, D. Scott, Julius Ferguson, Path Guy 74, Black Swerve 404, and Pete Rock 496. Big up to y'all, man. Big up to Tahuti of New Comet, Aaron Peters, Barnolas, Dardar, Michael Ross, Vincent Lindsay, Michael Pierce, Beautiful Trauma, Quiz the Poet, and Black Wizard ADOS. Big up to y'all, man. Shout out to Jazztech, Shadow Observer, Sugar T, Artisan MC, Nasiana, Kyle J. Sura, Kareem, Troy Warren, Jeff R., Mrs. KP Bailey, and Ricky Dawson. Big up to y'all. Big up to Alan Wiley, The Face, Mantis on Break, Life of Commerce, Truth 7360, Marvin Evans, A. Wilson's Ghost, Timothy Blewett, Jeffrey Speed, Marvin Battle Jr., Mark Holt, and John J. Big up. Big up to Afro Troop TV, Adam, BGS Ivmore, Ignatz Mouse, Brian Peaks, Papa Didas, Scott Haywood, Black Uru Strikes, Dr. Tree 33, Leroy Honeycutt, and Supertech. Big up to y'all. Big up to 77 Base X, Brian McMurray, Karan S., Anthony Davis, Charles Rogers, Rick Ross, Sandra Jean, Charles Gilmore, Patricia Colley, Greg and Barry Little. Big up, man. Big up to Mr. Valentino, Jason Hales, Black Men Being Brutally Honest, Cameron 87, Dr. Rock, Mark Swift, Odd Collard, Donna Watts, Coach Hotep, Old Soul Chief, and Mr. Blue Collar. Big up. Big up to I'm Just Jules, TD Hip Hop Media, Drew Main, Mr. Heat, Sir Anthony, MLR, Universal 178, Rashid Barnes, Aaron Smith, DH, The Revelator, and Aaron Infinite. Big up. Big up to Dr. Tiasan Johnson, Kalon Jakala, Hostile ADEP, and WPR1. Big up to all y'all, man. And on my Patreon side, I want to give a shout out to Lamar, J Live, Rashawn Phillips, Keith Bass, Nick, Malcolm Smith, Rock One, Albert C, Dr. Ben Vincent, I Am the Light of My Father, Waffle Weave, William Joyner, Tyrone Hampton, Darnell Smith, Excalibur, Anu219, Pursuer Prisoner, Taz, Dragon 59, Adrian Hicks, Jay Bailey, Mr. Michi, Mo Mal, and Asangwa. And I can't forget my brothers in heaven, David Curl, Forrest Windu, and Kevin Samuels. Big up to all y'all, man. Y'all deserve a round of applause and some fanfare, man. Thank you so much for supporting the Green Gorilla channel. I know your dollars are hard earned, and you don't have to give them to me at all in order to help me keep this thing going. But for those that do, I really appreciate it. And if you're inquiring about how you could also be a donator to the Green Gorilla channel, here's how you do it, and we'll be back with the show, man. What's good, everybody? I'm the G with a PhD, and you're tuned in to the Green Gorilla channel, the place where black men can express themselves freely. Straight up, no chaser. Today, I want to introduce you to my new membership program that consists of 5 levels where you can invest in the Green Gorilla channel on a monthly basis and receive level-specific perks. Memberships are special because they improve the quality of the content of the channel and will help me to be able to keep the channel going. Now, to participate in the Green Gorilla channel membership program, all you have to do is hit the join button, which is located right next to the subscribe button on my channel page. Now, for all of my subscribers who decide not to participate in my membership program, nothing will change. The content will keep coming the way it always has. Thanks for watching, and be careful out here, people. Bless. All right, man, we're back. You know who I am. I'm GG. You're tuned in to the Green Gorilla channel. It is the place where black men can express themselves freely and openly, straight up with no chasers. And so today, before I even, began to do the show, I saw something on YouTube. You know how you pull up the YouTube tab, not on your channel specifically, but you just pull up YouTube in general to see what the feed is going to suggest, what the algorithm might, as in a deck of cards, lay out in terms of a hand. And I saw something, and it kind of reminded me of where we exist in popular media and culture today. I saw a thumbnail of Gerald Horne, an esteemed history professor at the University of Houston, sitting right next, I kid you not, sitting right beside, juxtaposed to that of an actor who played a gangster in Boys in the Hood. The one with the pacifier in his mouth. Now, the video for Gerald Horne had 1,100 views. But the video about the brother, and I'm going to call him a brother because he is, but the brother who got shot by the Blood Gang has 665,000 motherfucking views, man. Man. Now tell me there ain't something wrong with the culture, man. Tell me there ain't something wrong with the culture, bruh. Tell me there ain't something wrong with the content that people are interested in and what they consume. The average U.S. citizen's mind. And it ain't just black people watching this, so I'm not going to blame it on black folks. But everybody loves drama. They don't love knowledge. They love that booty chatter and that bullshit. But they don't love getting down to the nitty gritty. They don't love the shit that's important, the shit that's substantive. They love the fucking bullshit. Fuck that. You're not going to get that here, man. Every now and then I'll chime in on something that's mundane. But for the most part, I like to dabble and dib into the world of ideas and concepts and how they impact and affect you in politics and policy and laws. Those are the things that I like to bring to you. I don't like the booty chatter and the bullshit gangster chatter. It's all fucking bullshit to me. But that's just me. But what did we come here to talk about today? We came here to talk about Ye. Poor Ye. Poor Ye. But Ye ain't poor for real though. Ye ain't poor, man. So don't feel sad for Ye because, you know, he got cut out from Adidas. That ain't the issue. Or cut off from Adidas. Because the man, his net worth at the current moment is $400 million, bruh. 400 million, bruh. I saw some cat, my frat brother, man, sent me a video of some Negro, man. I don't know this Negro's name, man. And he's an inspirational content creator, I guess, you know, but he's basically talking about how Kanye about to go broke because everybody done cut him off. I'm like, nigga, his name is Nino Brown. He's named after a New Jack City character, bruh. How can I take you seriously, nigga? You named after a fucking character in New Jack City, man. Boy, I tell you, black people's minds are fucked up. They say a mind is a terrible thing to waste. That's what they say. That's what the generation that came before us, before the Generation X's, that's what they said. A mind is a terrible thing to waste. But we don't think. We don't reflect. We react. That's what we do, man. We react. Over and over and over and over and over and over. Reaction, 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 reaction. We don't take time to take stock of the facts. The facts. We never take time to take stock of the facts. But one thing I want to do before I even begin, I wish, I sincerely desire for black people, I don't care if you're on the radio, I don't care if you have a YouTube channel, I don't care if you're a politician, I don't care if you're an entertainer, a rapper, singer, dancer, I don't give a fuck what you are. You need to stop repeating the claim, the idea, the notion that racism is an attitude or a feeling. That's absolute bullshit. Stop saying that. Don't fucking repeat it, man. Stop that. Cut it out, man. Stop doing that shit. Don't do it, bruh. Stop it. If you're doing it, don't do it anymore. Stop it. You sound fucking crazy out here, man. I wish they would stop repeating the idea that racism actually comes in the form of hate speech. I always said this. I believe it to be true. I don't care if you're openly calling me a nigga. What I care about is whether or not you have the power to treat me like one. What's the use of you not calling me a nigga or whatever negative epithet you want to call me? What's the use of you not calling me that when you sitting there thinking goddamn well that I am a fucking nigga? What does it matter if you calling it to me in my face if I experience it on my day-to-day? All day, every day. Who gives a fuck whether you saying it or not? It's implicit. It's understood. It's understood. It's implicit, man. I'm trying to give you knowledge, man, so that you don't go out here repeating the same fucking woke ass bullshit. And to be quite frank, I'm just gonna be honest, man. All I see is zombies everywhere. I see the living dead, black living dead everywhere. They exist in a liminal state. They have their hands raised up in the air, fucking sleepwalking and shit. Repeating white liberals' talking points, getting us nowhere. Absolutely nowhere, man. Let me just get it out so you can understand it, man. Racism is almost always a form of institutionalized power. And when I say institutionalized, I don't mean being dedicated to a psych ward for having a mental illness or a fucking psychiatric episode. When I say institutions, I mean humanly devised structures of rules and norms that shape and constrain groups of individuals' behavior, bruh. Let me repeat that shit so you can get it through your skull, especially if you're a black person, man, that has an audience or a set of followers or subscribers, and you're able to shape and mold public opinion. Take it for somebody who has an area of specialization in the philosophy of race. Racism is almost always a form of institutionalized power. And what I mean by an institution is structures of rules and norms created by us, human beings, that shape and constrain groups of individuals' behavior. That is how racism is manifested, man. That's how it's manifested. What is an example of an institution? Let me make you privy to it, because it seems like many of you out here, and I know the people who really need to hear this, they're not going to even listen to the video because I'm a nano influencer. I have under 10,000 subscribers. So nobody fucking listens to what we have to say, but we can have our videos juxtaposed right next to a motherfucker getting shot. And he'll get 600,000 views over some stupid shit in the hood. But we here to drop these gems on you, and the first thing you do is tell us, we don't want to hear that shit, man. We don't want to hear that shit. We just wants to daffy dance around and enjoy ourselves. Let us daffy dance around. We gonna enjoy ourselves. I don't want to think. I don't like us to think. I don't want to reflect. I don't want to ruminate. I just want to marinate. That's our mind state. And now you got a bunch of goofy motherfuckers out here acting like they know what the shit is. Like they've dedicated time and effort and energy into studying it, developing acumen, being able to articulate the intricacies of it. But they got a fucking opinion. But you know, opinions are like assholes. Everybody got one. Everybody got an asshole. What is an example of an institution? A school is an institution. A bank is an institution. A local or state government are institutions. A judiciary or a law enforcement agency or a prison is a set of institutions. When those institutions or the people that control them are racist, they have the ability to develop laws or policies that can have an adverse effect on the people that are racialized or that they have racialized. Now you have black people who are ignorant or, quite frankly, stupid as a motherfucker, who are arguing that reverse racism is a real thing. Or they're having an emotional or a radical response to institutional systems of oppression is wrong and it hurts white people's feelings. What the fuck is wrong with you niggas? What is wrong with y'all, man? And you know what the problem is? I'm going to tell you what the problem is. You got a bunch of goofy, intellectually lazy black people who consider themselves to be woke and progressive, who are controlling the zeitgeist of black culture. And they make peanuts in order to sell superfluous products, extraneous bullshit products to disenfranchise people over their media. These goofies have been taught incorrectly that racism is attitude or feeling. But you know what this does? It fits right into the politically correct liberal framework. I'm speaking of a demographic that has, for the most part, they've hijacked the entire meaning of a system of racialized oppression and have converted it into sex and gender politics for profit and political gravitas. That's what the fuck is been done, man. That's what the fuck is happening. Now I'm telling you the truth, man. I don't have time to play games with this. And I'm gonna get to the people who've shown me some support, but I gotta get this off my chest. They have flipped the script on what racism actually is. So now it's just a feeling, a bias, a cognitive bias or some shit like that. That's all it is. I told you in one of my videos I did that was pre-recorded. That shit is prejudice, bruh. It's prejudice. You can't outlaw prejudice. You can't outlaw it. You can't attack prejudice. You can't reshape and mold individuals' minds to stop their knee-jerk reactions to what the fuck they feeling. You can't do it. It's impossible to do. Can't outlaw a motherfucker hating your ass. But you can outlaw institutions. Humanly devised structures of rules and norms that shape and constrain the behavior of individuals. You can change those. I keep saying the same shit about all these motherfuckers arguing about women. Oh, the woman that, the woman do that, and they do this, and they values are like that. Fuck that shit, man. Fuck that. Change your motherfucking attitude, understand what the fuck is going on, and if it don't fit into your program, walk away from it. You can't change individuals' behaviors. They have a whole history and a whole fucking, consortium of events that they done dealt with that led them to be the type of motherfuckers that they are. You can talk to them, but I can tell you this, man, from somebody who has made money off of the life of a mind or the mind for a living. You ain't gonna change a motherfucker's mind that don't want to be changed, bruh. You ain't gonna change nobody's mind that don't want to be changed. But I'm gonna tell you the facts though. I know they ain't gonna change their opinions or their attitudes because they're acclimated to ignorance, but they have an interest in knowing the truth. They have an interest in knowing it so they don't sound like stupid motherfuckers reiterating a liberal version of what racism is. You have black scholars who are geniuses who have articulated what the fuck this phenomena is incessantly for the past motherfucking goddamn 100 years, man. The last 100 years you've been given access to what the fuck this is about. And now you got Negroes. Oh, it's just a feeling. I don't hate anybody. I'm colorblind like they say we should be. What type of dumb niggas are we, man? They're turning around the moral authority about what should be regarded as disdainful or not. And we're sitting in real time pointing fingers and ain't saying shit. Not a fucking thing. I don't care if he's right or wrong, or, you know, he's a coon or a buffoon, or he's a Republican or a Democrat. Any black person, man, that sits there and has the audacity to call out bullshit on white folks when they know they fucking dead wrong, and the first thing you do is say, oh, well, he's hating. He just hates those people. We have to condemn it. What the fuck is wrong with y'all, man? We act like we still on a plantation watching the buck get his ass tore out. Oh, we can't do nothing. We better not say nothing. Oh, we best not say nothing. We can't say nothing. If we say something, dee-dee-dee-dee-dee-dee-dee-dee. Ding-ding-ding-ding-ding-ding-ding. So they done flipped the script. And yes, Jews have done the same goddamn thing with anti-Semitism. The same damn thing. The same thing. They can be as exploitative and as twisted as they fucking desire. All they have to scream, anti-Semitism, anti-Semitism, I can't stand no anti-Semitism. And everybody come rushing and running with this liberal, progressive bullshit that racism is a fucking cognitive bias or a fucking feeling. It ain't that. It ain't that, man. This is the truth right here, man. This is the whole truth. Nothing but the truth. The American descendants of slavery never did anything to the fucking Jewish demographic. Not a goddamn thing. Nothing. Not a motherfucking single solitary goddamn thing. Nothing to you motherfuckers. Nothing. Nothing at all to you motherfuckers. Not a goddamn thing. We did nothing to you motherfuckers. But yours most certainly did. Yours did. Yes, you did. Yes, you did. Your fucking demographic did some shit to the American descendants of slavery. Yes, you goddamn did. Now you want to hide behind this anti-Semitism shit. Anytime somebody critiques you or what the fuck y'all doing, that's bullshit. And everybody's in an uproar. Oh, well, you know, Nori sitting there, well, I love them people. I love them. Huh? These motherfuckers own slaves, were responsible for slavery in the largest fucking landmass where it took place. We talking about Brazil. They was all up in the motherfucking mix. Now you gonna turn around, you're reverse racist, that's anti-Semitism and all that. You're a white motherfucker as far as I'm concerned. You're white, man. You're white. It's what the fuck it is, man. You ain't Semitic to me. I don't even know what the fuck that means. The average American don't give a fuck about anti-Semitism, bruh. All they see when they see your ass and your little hat is a motherfucking white boy with a little hat. That's all, man. And our people ain't done shit to yours. Not a fucking thing. Nothing. But point out when you on some bullshit. And the first thing you do, when we do, anti-Semitism, anti-Semitism, anti-Semitism. And these same goofy woke black people are more worried about their branding and the feelings of the people who are at the helm of systems of oppression and domination than they are the people who are systematically subjected to managed violence on a daily fucking basis. Managed exploitation on a daily fucking basis. We ain't got no critiques of that. But they'll talk about your black ass and how your black ass need to be locked up, need to be compartmentalized and placed off and partitioned into a fucking ghetto because we don't want to deal with them niggers. That's what they saying amongst themselves. They love to see us sing and dance and shit. Oh, they love that. Especially if they can make some money off the shit. Go ahead, sing and dance, nigga. Let me see you dance. Let me see you dance. Bands will make him dance. Bands will make him dance. Do it with no hands. Niggas out here twerking for these motherfuckers. Bands will make us dance. Bands will make us dance. Bands will make us dance. You niggas act like these strippers out here fucked up. You got niggas out here doing shit worse than the fucking strippers. They just fucking or selling sex. You niggas out here selling murder. I said it, I mean that shit too. You got niggas out here selling murder like it's the shit to do. And that's all they do is they talk about, make reference to, have entire shows and fucking, podcasts centered around niggas talking about murdering. And now they got an opinion about what the fuck is morally or immorally, appropriate or inappropriate. Now they got something to say. Now they got a moral compass or some shit. I think them niggas scared. That's what I think. If you ask me.
This nigga's scared. Ain't nobody scared, man. Fuck that shit.
Scared. But because they've been appointed as tokens, these people, and they're the new ambassadors of diversity and inclusion, which is an outright fucking lie. There ain't no fucking diversity or inclusion in diversity and inclusion departments all across America, whether they at corporations or at fucking universities, in the government, wherever the fuck they say they are, they're a filthy fucking goddamn lie. The motherfuckers are lying. Because if there really was some diversity and inclusion there, you would see it proliferate and spread like a rash throughout the entirety of American culture and society. But do you see that shit happening? Do you see it with your own fucking eyes? Do you see it happening? Do you see it? Then they'll turn around and call you a racist. Oh, that's hateful. Oh, you hurt a lot of people's feelings. Huh? Are you fucking serious? You gotta be fucking kidding me, man. These corporations say, my company that I work for includes me and is diverse. That's a fucking lie. And you know it with your own eyes when you see it's a goddamn lie. They just use that shit for branding so they can virtue signal and grandstand while doing absolutely fucking nothing to improve the lives of black folks or whatever other outcast group. Not a goddamn thing. So if you want to know what's racist, I'll tell you what the fuck was racist. The transatlantic slave trade was racist. Eugenics as a science was racist. The black codes were racist. Harvard and Yale, as they used to own slaves and built their endowments off of slave labor, are racist. Jim Crow laws were racist. FHA housing loan policy that excluded blacks and other non-whites was racist. The GI Bill policy that excluded black veterans from receiving the benefits they fought for was racist. Redlining was racist. Restrictive covenants were racist. Segregated residences, which are still here. Huh? They're fucking racist. Segregated schools, which are still here, are fucking racist. And none of these motherfuckers got a goddamn thing to say about it. It's back to business as usual. Oh, this nigga tripping. He shouldn't have said that to them good old people. You got no commentary about none of this shit. But you got a lot to say about motherfucking Kanye, how fucked up he is. Oh, he shouldn't have said that. He can't do that. You shouldn't say nothing like that. The Supreme Court's Plessy versus Ferguson decision was racist. The Dred Scott decision was racist. Those were some motherfucking examples of some shit that was racist. Kanye West saying, I'm mad at motherfucking Jewish people. I'm pissed off at y'all for what the fuck you doing to us in the entertainment industry. That's not fucking racist. That's not racist. Being angry or fuming at white people, whether the fuck they're Jews or Gentiles, for engaging in actual racist practices is not racism. Let me repeat this shit again. See, this is what happens when you go to their schools and you fucking take what they tell you verbatim and you don't study black authors and thinkers. This is what the fuck you get. A culture full of woke motherfuckers that's walking around with their arms out like they fucking sleepwalking and shit. Being angry or fuming at white people, Jews or Gentiles, for engaging in racist practices is not fucking racism. It's righteous indignation. It is justice, motherfucker. It's justice. It's prophecy for some of you religious Negroes out here. It's insurrection, it's ethics, is what it is, in practice. And then you got dickheads like Charlemagne the God. Like, who the fuck is... First of all, you named after a dead white Carolingian king from the 8th century. Sorry for saying 18th. From the 8th century. Huh? What the fuck do you have to identify. This is how you know there's a disconnect between black people's reality and their lineage and who they even perceive themselves to be. Charlemagne? What the fuck do you even know about Charlemagne? Not a goddamn thing. And he all woke and they saying all this political shit. All he done read is the motherfucking diversity and inclusion manual that the PsyOps motherfuckers gave him and told him to repeat it. And he like an ape or a parakeet saying exactly what the fuck he been told to say. With a like he got a hand up his ass like a puppet. What you're doing is you're witnessing the sell out of black America by coons for peanuts. And you've been educated in a racist public school system that siphons off black people into the prison pipeline for profit. And most of you are too fucking dim-witted to know it. Because most of you niggas can't read or don't read if you can past the high school level. God damn. That's why these niggas are mute and ain't saying nothing. As white people cry reverse racism. Oh, it's reverse, it's racism in reverse. It's racism in reverse. We have literally, as black people, we've created or allowed tacitly a system of social conditions in which the very people who actually benefit from a set of institutions and practices that give them more wealth, help them live longer, and allow them to exploit and subject racialized people to manage violence. We have created the conditions in which they can now talk about black people's disdain with the system as fucking racism in reverse. We've allowed them to set the parameters of a game we initiated. What the fuck? And look, let me tell you what's odd about this shit, right? This is the oddest shit in the world. You got these same people, they make movies about chimpanzees and orangutans rebelling against injustice, and they fucking cheer for them. You saw the shit. They got movies like The Planet of the Apes, and they cheer for the fucking apes. How insane is that? They have outer space movies with fictionalized futures that champion violent and militaristic rebellion against the evil empire in movies like Star Wars and shit. These motherfuckers love The Mandalorian and Boba Fett and Cassian and Baby Yoda and shit. But let your black ass call out their injustice or their bullshit, and the first thing they offer up, reverse discrimination. Man, fuck them people, man. The sad part is, man, black people don't even have an answer. We have become so thoroughly immersed in civil rights rhetoric. The only way the average black person can think about combating institutionalized racism is through sanctimony and supererogation, whatever, however the fuck you now say, supererogation, going above and beyond the call of duty. They don't expect for a fucking monkey to do it. To sit back and to take shit being rammed down their throats. They don't imagine that fucking aliens with fucking 4 heads and shit in outer space would take the shit. Because why? We're sanctimonious. We're righteous. This is what, Nietzsche would call a slave morality. We have it. We have a slave morality. A kind of morality that's impotent because it forces nothing out of no one. It doesn't shame or guilt them. These motherfuckers ain't guilty. In their eyes, they have no shame about shit they doing. Nothing. There is no collective response from us to our managed and protracted and concerted violence. Other than, as Dr. Tia Hassan Johnson would say, we got aggressive asking. We're asking aggressively. We matter. We matter. Hands up. Don't shoot us, please. What the fuck? My hands are up. Don't shoot. Hands up. Don't shoot. That's the response? We matter. That's the fucking response? Oh, man, this is worse than I thought, bro. Like, I swear to God, we're worse off than I thought we were. You got coon experts and people that know in their hearts through their sanctimony and righteousness. They know they're on the right side of morality and race. They never argue about ideas on a second or a third order level of reflection. Not at all. Nope. They just ate what they've been told because they actually don't study black scholarship. They don't study it. They get the Cliff Notes version and shit for their shows and shit. And they don't even know what the fuck they talking about. They just know at a surface level what the dogma or the doctrine is. And what's worse, I haven't heard one intellectual from the academy come out and say a motherfucking thing. Not one goddamn one. Now, some may have said something, but I haven't heard anybody say anything because a lot of these motherfuckers are specialists in race and critical race theory. They ain't said a fucking word. They ain't said shit. The New Jack intellectuals, the post-soul niggas, they ain't said a fucking thing. Nothing. Not a goddamn word. Nothing. They're mute. They're either puppets with masses' hands up their asses or tokens in massa house that don't want to have their hustles get fucked up. Any of the academicians that might have said something, they got canceled. Michael Dyson, canceled. Got accused of a sexual harassment case, so he can't say shit. Cornel West, canceled. Because he had the audacity to say the obvious, that Barack Obama really didn't do a goddamn thing to help out black people. Not a fucking thing. Gays got gay marriage. Latinos got the border. Niggas got a reduction in crack sentencing. That's like Malcolm X saying, you took the knife halfway out of my back. The motherfucking knife's still in there. So the sentencing went from 500 to 1 to 18 to 1. Gee, thanks, Obama. Thank you, sir. Right, Mrs. KP Bailey, you're damn right. Boyce Watkins did say something about it, so I got to give him credit in that regard. He said something. The rest of these niggas shucking and jiving and chitlin ass intellectual PhD niggas ain't said shit. Not a fucking thing. They quiet as a hoe in church. You know why? Because we handed over the keys of the civil rights movement to white people any goddamn way. That's what we did. We just said, here the key, Bo. Here the key. Here the key. Here the keys is. Now it comes in the form of intersectionality, which white women lord over. They're the lords of intersectionality, although black women would like to argue otherwise. Who's the ones making money and getting jobs and positions off the motherfucking shit? Huh? And the same white women lord over diversity and inclusion departments and shit, or they might have a few token Negroes, heels and nails. But they have no intention, these people, of changing the basic structure of their racist institutions and changing their exploitative practices. They have no intentions. They use public relations as a veneer to cover up their fucking wicked designs. That's what the fuck they're doing. And I ask you, look around you. Stand in the place where you are now. Just stand. Look around and look around you. Take stock of your immediate environment. What the fuck has changed? What's changed? You got white women constantly arguing. The gender pay gap. I work so hard and I don't have as much money as my husband. But when he fucking dies, I get to take half of all of his shit. You get the money any goddamn way. Fuck a gender pay gap. The black-white wealth gap is bigger than the gender pay gap. Fuck anti-Semitism. Jews make money hand over fist by drawing up usurious and exploitative contracts for entertainers and creatives. I said it. I said it. You know you do. And you're fucking asking us to say nothing else. It's the Timitism. It's the Timitism. And you know it's the motherfucking truth what I'm telling you, man. Got a whole fucking industry that's for the most part run by people of Jewish descent, the entertainment industry. And they have contracts fucking 25, 30 pages long of bullshit that filled with nothing but let me take your shit forever. I want to be able to use your name, image, and likeness forever and ever 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 more. Let me keep on dancing for me. Keep on dancing. Dancing, 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 dancing machine. Keep on dancing. Just keep dancing. Whatever you do, don't stop dancing. Dance. Bands will make her dance. Bands will make him dance. Dance.
I already think he was twerk. If you broke, go to work. Make that big booty twerk.
Dance. Bands will make her dance. Bands will make her dance. Do it with no hands. Dance. 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 At one particular point in time, don't tell me this is the only shit that has the capacity to sell. Black people have been making music in the United States for decades. Not to say that this shit should be censored, but this is what they promote, and this is where they fucking going with it. They know they can make money off this shit. That's why I said when I first came in, I said, you know what? I was watching YouTube, man. Not watching it, but, you know, I hit the YouTube link. Not any particular channel, just the YouTube icon to see where the feed would take me. And I was brought to, you know, several thumbnails, and right next to the other, you had the illustrious and esteemed professor, Gerald Horne, who talks about race-related issues in history, right next to a video about a young man getting fucking shot and killed over some stupid nigga shit. And Gerald Horne's video has 1,100 views, but the video of the guy getting shot and killed over nothing by Bloods has 665,000 fucking views. That's where we are in the culture. You asked me about Yeezy. Oh, it's reverse. It's racism. This is so hateful. It creates so much danger. It's dangerous. You know, black people ain't never done shit to Jewish people. You fucking know it. They know it. They fucking know it. We ain't never done shit to them. Name for me a historical event that details the institutions that black people controlled that subjected Jewish people to derision and death. I'll fucking wait. I'll wait. Wait. But don't make me wait too long, because I'm going to move on. But now you can call, it's the Timitism, it's the Timitism is so hurtful, and it's so dangerous. It's so dangerous. It's gonna take us back. You mean the slavery? I ain't saying that the Jews haven't undergone some shit that's fucked up. Not saying it. But you know what's fucked up about it? And I didn't say this the last time. But I'm gonna say it today. I'm gonna say it today. It might be shocking for people to hear, but it is the truth. It is the unadulterated fucking truth. Jewish people, just like any other white people, were heavily involved in the transatlantic slave trade, both in the United States and in other parts of the Americas. Yes, they were part of it. And by and large, American Jews supported Jim Crow. By and large. And I said before, what I did say before, it's true, not all Jews were hateful, loathing bigots, but a large portion of them were. But the absurd part of it all is the Jews' very participation in slavery and Jim Crow until after the Holocaust helped to give rise to the Holocaust itself. God Damn. I said it, and I mean it. The Jews' very participation in slavery and Jim Crow until well after the Holocaust, in an implicit way, helped to give rise to the Holocaust itself. This is the true meaning of the idiom, chickens coming homes to roost, or the understanding of the precept that a threat to justice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. Yes, Jews were part of and profited from racially stratified systems of marginalization and exploitation in the Americas that would eventually inspire the racist and eugenicist hate of Nazi fucking Germany. Yes, I said it. It was all good till the motherfucking targets got aimed and trained on you. Long as it was just us. Oh, well, you know, some niggas dying. Fuck it, I need to make this money. When it happened to your people, now it's time to never forget, huh? While we still going through the motherfucking Holocaust. We still going through exploitation. And you act like your hands ain't dirty. That's what we got an issue with. Then you charge us with reverse racism. Oh, it's reverse. It's the racism in reverse. So let me repeat the shit again so that any Jewish person can understand it. You were part of a racial caste system that inspired Nazi Germany. Because we all know that the racist system of oppression in the United States was the inspiration for fucking Nazi Germany. They got the fucking playbook from the US and in the Americas. That's where they got the motherfucking playbook from. Could have been standing against it the whole while, but not while it was fattening your fucking pockets. It's the truth. It's academic. Go read the fucking books. Now, I'm not in any shape, form, or fashion endorsing or apologizing for genocide. I'm not. It's merely a sad reality. The very system that American Jews profited from eventually led to their own demographic slaughter. How fucking ironic is that? How ironic is that? I'm sick and tired of white people, I don't give a fuck if they Jews or Gentiles, talking about the reverse racism and the hate coming from people that are systematically oppressed and marginalized in American society. I'm sick and tired of hearing that shit. And I'm sick and tired of niggas. Oh, well, we can't hate anyone. Like, I love everyone. Really? You motherfuckers done turned the other cheek too goddamn far. You done took it too far. You done took it too far. Now, what I say, I told you, I said 2 or 3 days ago, I say racism is systemic and institutional, and it can't be equated with prejudice. But guess what? All of the Negroes everywhere, because they've been taught that it is, now they believe what white liberals tell them it is. Even though they have experience on a day-to-day. Talk about not being able to see the forest for the trees. Huh? You can't see the forest for the trees. You're going through low-level conflict. with people who despise you, who exploit you, who manage you, who subject you to surveillance and violence. And the only response you got is, I love everyone. I love all people. Now we got this whole colorblind concept of what the fuck racism is. Or being anti-race. Black people been loving everybody. That's the motherfucking problem. You love motherfuckers who hate your ass. And they'll tell you, you the one hating. Motherfuckers will tell you, I love you, I hate you, I love you, but I don't like what you're doing. They don't hear that shit. All they hear is what they want to hear so they can denounce you and put your ass back into a motherfucking state of derision and death. That's all they give a fuck about. And you know what, Carrie Ende, you're exactly right about that. And especially the Negroes on these shows, all they got is, I'll kill you, nigga, I'll murder you. And they got all these Negroes on all these shows making all the rounds, from Joe Budden's podcast to Drink Champs to whatever the fuck other goddamn podcast is out there. And they all talking about murder, 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 kill, kill, murder, murder, murder. I'll fuck your wife, nigga. I got this dope boy money. I'm fucking you over, nigga. I got your bitch ass, nigga. I'll murder you, nigga, for even looking at me, nigga. You looked at me wrong, nigga. Now you can't even say shit. Niggas, what Tupac used to call goat mouth. These niggas goat mouth.
This nigga's scared. Ain't nobody scared, man. Fuck that shit.
Scared. Now don't take my word for it, because what I'm saying makes no sense, right? Because I'm a black man with a fucking icon that's talking to you with an afro and a green and a fucking red eye. So what I'm saying really doesn't make any sense whatsoever, right? Maybe perhaps if you hear it from a white guy, maybe it'll make sense then.
I will not vote for, and no senator should vote for, an individual nominated by any president who is not fully committed to fairness and impartiality toward every person who appears before them.
Oh, yes, right now, huh? Yeah. Well, everybody gets straight exactly the same.
President Obama appointed Sonia Sotomayor to be the Supreme Court Justice. Her qualifications quickly got lost. Everything was focused on her race and her gender. So many white people were quick to just call it out as reverse racism. But that whole notion of reverse racism is really problematic, and here's why. First of all, it assumes that people of color are just underqualified and assumes that white people are entitled. Second, it also assumes that we don't have systemic racism, where we have a system that's full of inequalities. Just look at the facts. If you look at anything from infant mortality rates to life expectancy rates and everything in between, it's also racially skewed. That is systemic racism. Racism between individuals is really prejudice, and prejudice can go any direction. It can go forward, sideways, and especially backwards. But that's different from systemic racism, and the two can't be equated. Affirmative action is really designed to make the system fair. It's to make up for a lot of the inherent inequities that are built into the system. Affirmative action is not reverse racism. In fact, it's remedying racism. So the bottom line is that the whole concept of reverse racism is really a way of just taking away attention from the big white elephant in the room, which is systemic racism.
So this is what Kanye is talking about. He's talking about exploitation and surveillance and usury. That's what he's talking about. But he can't even express it without you motherfuckers coming along. It's the Timitism, it's the anti-Semitism. And you know goddamn well, you know fucking well what the fuck y'all group has done and haven't done. Lear Cohen, Now I fucks with Rick Rubin. I can fuck with Rick Rubin. Can't fuck with Lear Cohen. I can't fuck with Vlad. I can't watch Vlad. All he do is get niggas on the show to snitch. Tell me about when you killed and murdered motherfuckers, and tell me how much dope you had. And that's like a motherfucker, you freely giving this motherfucker information to get a RICO case. And Black Uhuru, you're exactly right. You don't believe me. The problem is you gave 85% of it to white women. Okay, let's check it out. You ain't got to listen to me. Listen to the esteemed Dr. Curry say it. Maybe you'll believe it then.
The rubric of anti-discrimination law in the United States that intersectionality is based on, which is largely Title VII jurisprudence, is a contingent and constructed phenomenon. The addition of sex to Title VII jurisprudence of legislation was the fact that the National Women's Party, a conservative feminist organization, actually trying to stop Title VII legislation from benefiting Black people. So in order to kill the legislation, they said, let's introduce sex to the debates. So the congressional debates show that they thought they were going to stop Black civil rights gains, affirmative action, et cetera, but ended up adding sex and then redistributing the economic benefits like affirmative action, entrance into college, et cetera, from Black people who had marched during the civil rights and died for those rights to white women. That's why we see that after, the 1960s and 70s, the primary beneficiaries of affirmative action were white women, not the Black people who marched and fought for civil rights in the United States. Now, taking that as a historical backdrop, you ask yourself, what is adding sex, a contingent and really subversive category in Title VII legislation, actually do to the identities of people who suffer? Well, for a long time, Black people weren't understood to have gender. They weren't recognized as men and women. Most infamously, you see the protests where Black men were marching, I am a man, largely because Black men were still referred to as boys, especially in the part of the country in the United States that I'm from. So when we ask ourselves, well, there's intersectional identities, well, what do those intersectional identities mean? We're reading history backwards, anachronistically. We're assuming that the identities of man, woman, male, female, masculinity, and feminine apply to all racial groups the same way throughout history. So you take intersectionality as a concept in the 1980s and you read it all the way back to the 1860s when Black people were thought to be animals. It's this kind of lazy intellectualism that I have a problem with, because we'll adamantly state that Black people weren't seen as humans, but somehow we believe that people respected their sexual orientation and their gender identities. That seems almost silly when you say it that way, but it occupies a central place in how most intellectuals try to reread and revise history to fit the idea of the theory.
There you have it. So I ain't got to say it. I'll let somebody say it for me. Since every time I say it, there's disbelief. Oh, he's just hating. All you're doing is hating people. And I don't speak for Curry. Curry is not a part of the manosphere, so don't implicate him in it. But all I'm saying is there's a lot of truth that was said there. There's a lot of truth that was said there. And now it's gotten to a point, like I told you, for you to even have a challenge towards the systemic and institutionalized pressures and racism that you face, the only way you can respond to it is through what? I love you, but I still love you. You know that one dude? I think I got a recording of that shit somewhere, man. I still, deep down in my heart, I love you. This is where we at, man. This is where we are, man. And nobody has any strategy, no nothing. The only thing we got is, racism is a bias. It's, a prejudice. Can't stop prejudice. Don't give a fuck. I don't care about prejudice. I care about your ability to take the prejudice and utilize it in order to lead to my derision and death. That's what I give a fuck about. That's what I have an issue with. Theoretically, That's what I think about. Can't change people's minds, but I can change their power. That's the goal. And as far as I see it. But, you know, you can think whatever you want to think. You can feel however you want to feel. Can't stop you. But right now, we're in a position to where white people have hoodwinked black people to believe that your indignation at exploitation and ostracization and marginalization is injustice itself. You better not have an indignant response against our fucking manipulation of you, lest you be deemed a fucking loathful bigot. Now they calling us bigots, and we ain't done shit to them. No history of slavery of them, no history of genocide of them, no history of usury and exploitation of them, none of that shit. Now you react to it. You can't react to me. That's the Timitism. Huh? You better keep on. In other words, allow me to keep exploiting you, nigger. That's what it means to me. That's what I get from it. And I got some Jews to friends. And I told them, I say, hey, bro, when I see you, I see a white motherfucker, man. I don't see no Jew. I don't even know what the fuck all that means. Tell somebody else about that shit. I don't even know what it means, bro. Y'all can talk amongst that shit amongst white people. I don't even know what the fuck that means, bro. I don't give a fuck about all that religious shit. I don't care about Protestantism versus Catholic versus Jew versus Muslim, whatever the fuck. Whatever. I don't know nothing of that. That's not part of my fucking history, cultural memory. Don't know anything about it. But they got us right now. You can't say shit to them. So here, let Curry speak again about what racism actually is for all them motherfuckers out there that act like they don't know, both black and Jew and Gentile.
And I think particularly in the UK, that seems to have a cultural predilection towards colorblindness. It's a very dangerous habit because it assumes that the failures of certain groups of people are based on collective individual pathologies, that these are individuals choosing to not succeed, choosing to endorse the wrong kinds of values, rather than seeing how certain structures, forms of education, economic and political barriers obscure the ability of people to not only see and pursue certain courses of life and action, but also become rewarded as their white counterparts for getting the same kind of education or the same kind of jobs.
So is it then connected to this distinction that people sometimes make between whether race is a sort of structural social problem and an institutional problem versus whether race is as you said, a sort of fault of certain individuals who just need to be therapized out of their biases?
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. And I think this is what you'll find when you read something like the Black radical tradition or critical race theory or even Afro-pessimism, contemporary Black theory about racism versus, mainstream liberal theory. Liberal theory suggests that race or racism is an individual bias, is a cognitive, prejudice that people have, that they read people based on skin color and not who they are as autonomous, free, rational individuals. So in that sense, people say, well, look, this is something that we need to adjust people's mindsets or their psychologies from, which is why most of the decolonization discussion in the UK focuses on how you make white people better people. How do you allow white people to see diversity and see that there's different colors of people and complexions that have contributed to world history? When you're looking at Black intellectual traditions, you're looking at racism as a form of dehumanization, as a process that's been engaged upon deliberately by European countries, by nations, by structures, by institutions, meant to denigrate and exploit certain groups of people for the benefit of the white race. And it's that kind of distinction between people who experience racism and develop theories to talk concretely about what it is, how it acts, how it affects people that are burdened with racialization, and then white liberals who think, often that, oh, well, it's just about me endorsing the right kind of black person or recognizing that black people are human beings. This is the chasm, so to speak, between how we understand racism as a structural, cultural, and historical process and racism merely as an individual bias.
There you go. There's a chasm between, now this brother here, Tommy Curry, is a fellow philosopher, professional, and he is an expert in the philosophy of race. You might agree with some of the shit he says, you might disagree with some of the shit he says, but most people who do critical race theory agrees with this part, regardless as to whether they're a feminist or a whateverist. Even in the academy, most black scholars are going to come out and say there is a profound difference between structural or institutional racism and this whole liberal notion of colorblindness, and we need to eliminate cognitive bias. Everybody knows this, except for the Negroes on these damn talk shows or these podcasts. They don't know a damn thing about it, but they're self-proclaimed experts. They get the virtue signal and grandstand for public relations about some shit while they sitting there getting exploited right then and there. And get my likes up, man, or get the fuck out of here. You ain't got to watch this shit. If you can't like it, get the fuck out of here. I want to see the count drop. If you can't like the video, get the fuck on. Leave. That's my word on my dead mama grave. You don't like the video, get the fuck out of here. I want to see the count drop or go up. Because I'm telling you the truth. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. This is straight no chaser on the Green Gorilla channel, man. I don't play games, bruh. I don't sugarcoat shit. I've never been that way. I don't tap dance for motherfuckers for to go along to get along. I ain't never done that. I don't do that. All I'm trying to do is to get you to see what the reality is. And I got one last thing from Curry to show you. Then I'm going to go back to something else.
The rubric of anti-discrimination law in the United States that intersectionality is based on, which is largely...
Wrong one.
Critical race theory from the racial realist tradition. The tradition solidified by people like Derek Bell, Linda Green, Kenneth Nunn, Richard Delganos, Gene Stefanczyk, right? These scholars are making vastly different arguments where they're criticizing liberalism, where they're criticizing the very ability of white liberals to understand and actually participate in revolutionary anti-racist practices or fundamentally challenge the organization of society given that it's ordained by the rule of law. That's why their work reads as much more antagonistic to the liberal tradition. In Gary Peeler's book, Race Consciousness, he actually makes this claim very clear, that to the white liberal, the white supremacists and the black nationalists who fight in white supremacy are basically the same, because the evaluation of whether or not one is racist or nationalistic isn't on whether or not they're fighting injustice or justice, but whether or not they take the race consciousness, the race characteristic like blackness or whiteness, to be a fundamental part of their identity and their political motivations. Well, if you're looking at black nationalists who take blackness seriously precisely because it stands outside of a white supremacist logic, then the white liberal looks at them and says they're just as bad as the KKK that's killing, lynching, and murdering people. But if you're looking at black nationalism within a structural and material basis, then you're saying, well, this grew as a response to the oppressive conditions that white liberals are safe from but complacent in, that allow black people to be killed, oppressed, lynched, etc. And that's going to be the biggest difference between how black intellectuals and black radicals understand their position within a white supremacist empire, logic, or society versus how white liberals, who very much stand on the sidelines and comment on the moral rightness of the people participating in the conflict, evaluate the situation. Now, conservatives are a quite different story, because conservatives, especially in the United States, fundamentally believe that the values, the structure, and the empire that makes up the United States are correct. and ordained by God.
So I'm not going to even go to the conservative portion of any of that. But the reality is, you got people, man, who will basically say that the Black Panthers are evil, or that the Nation of Islam is evil for calling out the fuck shit that white people doing. Whether they Jews or Gentiles, they'll tell you, you are fucking racist. Fuck all the institutions. Fuck all the power dynamics involved in any of this. You're racist because you don't like me. Knowing full well they don't give a fuck about you. They'll use your ass like, what's the name of this? Bill Withers and shit. They'll use your ass up till you ain't a damn drop of your soul left and move on to the next one. That's why you got people like Dave Chappelle like, I'm out of this business. Fuck this shit. You heard what they did to him at HBO. He went in and asked him, hey man, I'm pitching my show to you. Why do we need you? We don't need you. After his show becomes a gigantic success, the next thing you know, them same motherfuckers running this shit without his permission. Because they got him to sign as a young man, not having access to the same technology they got. And that's what that shit is. It's technology, all them fucking 200-page ass contracts. I can own your name and your likeness into perpetuity and all this shit. Come on, man. If Jesus was to come here, this is what the fuck he would do.
Make not my father's house an house of merchandise.
Get that shit out of here. And start turning over tables in this bitch. And you know this. Turning over tables. Yeah, I use white Jesus to illustrate it. If all you give a fuck about is lucre, filthy lucre, you're already engaged in sin against the Most High, Yahweh. That's what we saying. Exploitation is a sin. Thou shalt not fucking steal. Thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's goods. Yeah, I went on a rant today. Look, I know I'm angry a lot, but it's a rhetorical strategy that I utilize in order to try to get my point across so as not to make it something that appears to be of non-importance. I want it to seem like it has some gravitas, some weight to it. Because now you got people who are part of systems of exploitation. They're turning around and using a liberal framework that black people ain't. We have never said that. Now you got niggas everywhere who are uneducated, have never learned this in an expert fashion. No, Charlemagne the God is not a fucking expert on race. DJ Envy is not a fucking expert on race. 50 Cent is not a goddamn expert on race. You ask them about critical race theory, they ain't gonna know what the fuck you talking about. But they know what the white liberal woke media crowd tell them to say. They know what the fuck they said. So now they adopt. This is how far from grace we've fallen. We don't even know the tradition from which we come. We don't even read our own authors. You got niggas sitting there all smug, acting like they know what the fuck they talking about, shaking their heads in disgust. It fucks me. I'm disgusted with that. I'm disgusted with it, man. You got these guys talking, well, Kanye is a bigot. And you know he shouldn't say that. You know you can't say anything about that. You know that's racism. That's racist. You can't. But you ain't saying shit about these motherfuckers that own your ass. Telling you what to fucking say and what you can't say, what's appropriate, what's inappropriate. You ain't gonna say shit about that, huh? Half of the cats that get in sit in your chair on your show getting fucking taken to the cleaners by some white motherfucker somewhere. Everybody got their goddamn hand in the jar. And for you to even say anything about it, well, you know, you should know better. You should know better. You taking niggas who are functionally illiterate and telling them to read a goddamn 25-page contract with jargon created by a special class of persons. And then you say that's not exploitation? Nigga, fuck you. But I could be an attorney. I could have been one of the best attorneys. I said, fuck being an attorney. I want to be a philosopher. Well, I don't know why the fuck I did that. They don't want niggas in philosophy, no way. Quiet as kept. Especially not nobody telling the truth, keeping it 100 and funky with them. Oh, well, you know, I understand, I get it, and all that bullshit. Man, fuck all that. You want somebody to sit there and tap dance for you and make you feel good and try to assuage your guilt personally. Fuck that. You acquiesce to the system because it benefits you. You have no interest in changing this shit. They know that. They know it. But then they'll sit back and tell you how fucked up you are for even having an attitude about what they doing. This has been the fucking plantation class's strategy from the beginning, the onset. To make you feel guilty because we doing something special for you by making us, y'all us slaves. Huh? They had some shit called drapetomania. Like if you want to get off their plantation, there's something wrong with you psychologically. Because you should just, I'm a nigga, he's a nigga, she's some niggas, we some niggas, wouldn't you like to be a nigga too? No, fam. So here's how, and this is the last piece I'm going to show you. I'll open it up if you want to say something, want to leave a comment after this. But, you know, if you ain't got nothing to say, I'm out of here, man. But I'm going to show you something. After I show you, you let me know. But I'm just, stop saying Ye is a racist. He's a bigot and all this shit, his bigoted remarks. Your whole culture fucking bigoted. Your whole fucking culture is bigoted and exploitative. Then you got the nerve, anybody say something, then all of a sudden, oh, it's racism, I don't like it. Fuck what you like. Fuck your feelings. You don't give a fuck about our lives, but we supposed to give a fuck about your feelings. You don't care about our bank accounts, our children, none of that shit. And it's indicative of how our infant mortality rates, our early death rates, our incarceration, our dropping out of schools. All this shit is indicative of systemic problems that you continue to let fester and persist without giving us a hand. And then when we finally get to a point where we can actually be something and do something, you still run your goddamn games. And then you got these coon ass niggas who I condemned all disrespect and all hatred of anybody because I love everyone. And you let the white liberals tell you this goddamn lie. And they know it's a fucking lie. Because they ain't nowhere near the hood. All these do-gooder ass white liberals and shit. I don't see color. Will your ass see color because when you walk to the motherfucking line separating the hood from the suburbs, don't you? You see that shit, don't you? Hold on, Rogus. I'm going to let you in as soon as I get through showing this. Oh, I don't see any. I treat everyone exactly the same. You a goddamn lie. You know you a fucking lie. And we got to sit here and pretend that your lie is the truth to make you feel okay. Oh, it's the reverse. You don't like me, eh? Man, shut the fuck up. I don't give a fuck if you're a Jew or a Gentile. You're full of shit. All the way up to the top, all the way down to the fucking bottom, from the crown to the toes. I'm sick of this white shit. Oh, it's the reverse. It's reverse. It's a fucking lie.
A lot of people don't like my comedy. A lot of white people don't like my comedy. A lot of white people say this to me. Hey, Amir. Hey. Get on stage. You make your jokes about white people. You say white people this, white people that. What if I did something like that, huh? What if I got on stage and I said, yeah, black people are like this, Muslims are like that. You'd probably call me a racist, wouldn't you? And I say, yeah, I would. Yeah, you should never do that. That's bad for your health. They're like, well, you do that, Amir. You do that. You get on stage, you make your jokes about white people. Don't you think that's a kind of racism? Don't you think that's dun 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 reverse racism? I said no. I don't think that's reverse racism. Not because I think reverse racism doesn't exist, right? If you ask some black and brown people, they'll tell you flat out there is no such thing as reverse racism. I don't agree with that. I think there is such a thing as reverse racism, and I could be a reverse racist if I wanted to. All I would need would be a time machine, right? And what I'd do is I'd get in my time machine, I'd go back in time to before Europe colonized the world, right? And I'd convince the leaders of Africa, Asia, the Middle East, Central and South America to invade and colonize Europe, right? Just occupy them, steal their land and resources, set up some kind of, like, I don't know, trans-Asian slave trade where we exported white people to work on giant rice plantations in China. Just ruin Europe over the course of a couple of centuries so all their descendants would want to migrate out and live in the places where black and brown people come from. But of course, in that time, I'd make sure I set up systems that privilege black and brown people at every conceivable social, political, and economic opportunity. White people would never have any hope of real self-determination. Just every couple of decades, make up some fake war as an excuse to go and bomb them back to the Stone Age and say it's for their own good because their culture's inferior, and then, just for kicks, subject white people to colored people's standards of beauty, so they end up hating the color of their own skin, eyes, and hair. If, after hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years of that, I got on stage at a comedy show and said, hey, what's the deal with white people? Why can't they dance? That would be reverse racism. Marvin, thank you. You've been great. Good night.
So yeah. So I got a few people, man, who want to chime in, weigh in on this. I hope everybody will be cordial and will, allow other people to speak. But Rogus, my brother, welcome to the show. The nameless protagonist, Os. And the Reconstruction Project. Welcome to the show.
Man, what's up, man? Thank you for having me, man.
You're welcome.
Respect.
Well, I don't know you, brother, so glad to meet you. What's your opinion, man? How do you feel about this? Or what do you think about this?
My opinion, I'm pissed, man. You know what I'm saying? One thing that people don't understand, all this anti-Semitism lies that they're throwing around. just because you're holding somebody accountable for their exploitation of your demographic. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to figure out how is that being racist, you know? And what pisses me off even more is our people just turn a blind eye to it. Or then you have the people like Charlamagne the God and the DJs, the Envies, and all them other people want to get up here and say these things. And it's basically, I don't know, the stuff just, it makes me mad, man. I ain't felt this mad since I went through my divorce. That's how I feel about it. You know what I mean? And I don't know. I'm just furious about it, man, because, you know, being a creative person myself, being an artist myself, you know, you're talking about taking somebody's creative properties and basically giving them pennies while you collecting dollars. You know what I'm saying? It's like they're giving you pennies and the dollars, giving you trinkets, and their whole entire line and generations, and they're creating generational work, generational wealth off your your creative mind, man. And we should be pissed off about that. Not only that, but not allowing you to actually speak positivity to your own community. And they're okaying that it's okay for us to tell black men to kill other black men, women to be hoes, and all this other stuff, all this other whatnot. But you know what I'm saying, we can't talk about the people who's actually okaying and writing and signing off on that to be a green light, man. It just pisses me off.
Is it that we can't, or is it that it is promoted that we don't? Because you gotta understand something. What is the worth of the people who you say is worthless but can make you billions? What is that? What is the actual worth?
That means they're actually worth billions. You know what I'm saying?
Trillions, actually, because you're still having to divvy some of them billions that you get.
Right.
So really, it's up to the people. The thing is, if the people don't understand that they have to construct their worth, then in a gangster party, the way that the United States tends to rock it, and these pilgrims, it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? Because to charge them with moralism is to deny an understanding of their history.
Well, you know, look, so this is my whole thing with this, right? Black people created this monster. That's what I'm going to say. And we did it by means of sanctimony and supererogation. And what do I mean by that? I mean, we have the right opinion. God is on our side. The truth is everybody should love everybody. The only response to hatred and violence is through love, because only love can do that. The hate can't drive out hate. Only love can do that. And I understand Martin Luther King Jr.'s sentiment. I know what his strategy was, but he also said at the end of his hour, we coming to get our check, for one. For two, don't let anybody take your manhood. For three, I feel like we going into a burning house. I feel like we marching off into a burning house.
So why don't you think that prompted black people to actually, like, once he said that, did he lose the ear of black people?
Black people don't read. Black people don't know shit about Martin Luther King Jr. other than what they're told. They've never read his work.
Right.
How can you know anything that this man said if you ain't? These niggas read everything. They'll read. This is why I said earlier when I came onto this show, I saw Gerald Horn and a video that he put out there, or somebody brought him on their show to speak about a specific issue in history, black history. 1,100 views. Boys in the Hood actor, a fucking nigga playing the role of a, no disrespect, you know we use the word nigga in the black community.
Right.
But this motherfucker's dead. God bless the dead. I'm not disrespecting him by saying that. Okay, just let me make that clear. But the whole point is, you niggas are more interested in watching that that shit that don't even mean nothing, than to learn about your own fucking history and your political struggle. That's the difference between niggas and Jews.
But is there a coagulated perspective in identifying oneself with that history and struggle?
White people tell you don't identify with yourself. You're American, ain't you?
Yeah.
Ain't you American?
That's where we go with what we said earlier. Look, I was gonna come up here and unload on them small hats, but I'm gonna try and hold myself back. I really
Nah,
don't.
don't hold back. Shit, Gigi even like this
Look,
motherfucker up, cuz.
look, and it's really obnoxious because at the end of the day, we got to see an example of the difference between force and power. And I've talked about this ad nauseum. Right. 1 with 10 means nothing against 10 with 1. All day long, 10 with 1 wins. Why? Right. Because 10 with 1 is multiplicative and 1 with 10 is additive. And over time, what wins? And like we said before, Rogish, the one thing that he has done is continually demonstrate over and over again that there's some cracks that are being shown with this modality. Right. Because this crack first started on a damn plantation when we see the number of individuals that did own folks in the South when this was kicking off. Check 1. Check 2. When we look at the only original form of theater in America, what is it? And who created it first?
Blackface.
Check. Well, okay. Again, who created? Coming up with this concept of stage name and why they had to hide their last names in the first place.
Right.
Okay. Then we get the entire monopoly of the music game. Entire monopoly. Especially when we see the reconstitution of our music starting all the way back from how it gets hijacked from Elvis, the way it gets brought in and retrofitted with disco, and then hijacked later on in 1986, 1987 with hip hop, all the way through the creation of gangster rap, starting with the West Coast and going all the way over to what we see with this goofy. No, I ain't gonna go there. My whole point is this. Even down to F that. That same year we had the goofiness pop off with Khalid Muhammad. And we already know who he upset to get put in that situation where he had to get removed. Do I need to keep going? Because it's a really interesting common denominator here.
That's true.
And it's uncanny how even when they get their own damn country, they won't call it colonization. But what the fuck do you call that when you got folks that's already living there and then you talk about, oh, well, you know, these people in the Bible that we ain't related. You know what? Let me
well, the thing is, they have to protect their claim on humanity. Yeah, I really want to blow the lid off of it. The thing, let's blow the lid off of it. They have to protect that. And so if we permit them to stand on a square of defense, then you are inadvertently admitting that they possess it.
Well, let me say this. Let me say this because I want Black Uhuru and Tahuti to weigh in. Tahuti has been here longer than Black Uhuru, so I'm going to let Tahuti talk. However, before you talk, Tahuti, I want to say this. And this goes out to Black people as well as Jewish people. Moral duties apply to oppressed people just as much as to any goddamn body else. Bottom line.
Facts.
I don't give a fuck if you're oppressed. That's not an excuse for you to oppress with no pushback. That's not the way this game goes. And then you can't equate. And again, I want Black people to understand this. If there's some white people here, whatever, man, you need to understand. Stop saying that racism is a fucking cognitive bias, a feeling or a sentiment or some hatred or some shit like that. It is a system.
Mm-hmm. Say that again. God
it
damn.
It is a system. I wish Black people would stop saying this is stupid. And I'm tired of hearing Black people say stupid shit. Okay? I'm sick and tired of hearing them say stupid shit and act like they're knowledgeable and they have no idea what the fuck they're talking about. None. They haven't studied it. They haven't put any work in, but they'll sit there and grandstand and virtue signal. They control the zeitgeist of the culture because they've been given a media outlet and they've been told what they can and what they can't say and what's right and what's not right. It's always mostly institutionalized power. Uh-huh. And when I say institutions, I mean humanly devised structures of rules and norms that shape and constrain groups of individuals' behavior.
Black
is
people don't run any of the fucking major institutions in the United States. But then you want to fucking put us under the framework of the rubric of haters. And then you reduce racism to some bullshit. And then you got black people believing this when we were the creators of the indignation of the whole fucking goddamn system. We're the ones that went out and fucking got the Civil Rights Act to fucking get dog sicked on us. Hose down. In resistance to this shit. And then everybody else wants to fucking appeal to this idea of color blindness, and you can't critique anybody because that's hatred predicated upon the Civil Rights, Act, which is Title VII, which they have bastardized.
Yep.
You have bastardized the whole fucking civil rights movement. It may as well not even occurred. MLK rolling over in his fucking grave.
That's the realest shit say in a minute.
He's rolling over in his grave, man.
Wow.
But my issue was this: like at the end of the day,
hold on, let Tahuti speak.
My bad.
I appreciate it, Gigi. Yeah, man, I really, really appreciate this content and you bringing this truth to all of us here. And just, a lot of the things that you say, I ruminate on, and I think about. I go to bed, I wake up, and I get a new idea, and I'm trying to fill in some gaps. And I listen to you the next day, from a philosophy angle, and you just bridged a whole lot of gaps. So first, I want to say thank you for that. The other thing I want to kind of go over, and I'm an esoteric dude. My name is Tahuti, of course. But this whole thing that's been happening, I've been getting the feeling of, when is the truth actually going to land on the world, really? And we don't really know exactly how it's going to happen or who it might come through, because if Kanye West is a messenger, man, the Most High certainly picked a very unique individual, because I'm looking at the way this whole thing just kind of panned out, and he's kind of in between.
Tahuti, he's perfect. Tahuti, he's perfect because he's trying to protect his position, and he exposes the system.
But it's like, okay, so you say white lives matter, and then all the white people are like, yeah, go Kanye, and then he goes on Tucker, and he's talking about murdering black babies and Claude Anderson, and I'm like, this guy is sitting in front of Tucker Carlson. Okay, and then he comes out with this message, and he's a billionaire and everything like that, but I'm looking around. And, a lot of our power, our senses, and I'm not going to get into all that right now, but they are opening the fuck up right now. But the thing is that it's like, yo, you're not only looking at the what these people are doing to Kanye himself, but you're also looking at the reaction of those people who you thought, well, maybe I knew they weren't all the way. I knew there was something behind that mask, but you thought that they were like, they put on a hardcore, very effusive, oh, we care about you, we care. But now you're seeing them come out, and you're looking at this guy. Last night I saw an interview, and you're looking at this white man talking down to a black man and trying to say that he's like Hitler and all. And I'm saying, this is and the black man saying, no, you guys exploited me. You stole $5 million of my money, and you do this constantly, and you're doing this. And it's just like, I'm sitting back just watching this whole thing, and I'm watching all these people, black people, and I'm saying, wow, it's very
within the
interesting.
course of a week, right?
Yes. And it's like, okay, so there's truth that is right in front of your fucking face.
It's not about truth.
But before somebody says anything, look, this is the way I look at it, right? It's easy. One of the things Dave Chappelle said a long time ago when he walked away, somebody turned their mic off.
Okay, that's me. Hold on.
Yeah, so Dave Chappelle said a long time ago when he left the Chappelle show that motherfucker said he was crazy. That's the first thing they do. They refer to you as being mentally ill. There's something fucked up about your mental or cognitive ability. That's the first thing they do. Or they'll say you hate for responding to the shit that they do. Even to a worse degree than you can imagine. So they're really upset about words and they are talking about how dangerous these words are. First of all, what's so fucking dangerous about calling you out for being exploitative and being a thief? Because that's basically what Kanye was telling these motherfuckers about. He was like, look, I'm working for Adidas. The motherfucker who working in Adidas, who's the CEO, jacking me for my ideas. And he's saying he has no filter. That's the thing. Most people have filters. But to me, Kanye is like Diogenes of Sinope. I don't know if you ever heard of Diogenes of Sinope. Okay? The cynic philosopher or whatever, who will just say whatever the fuck is on his mind. Most people have a filter and try their best not to offend anyone. But black people have always tap danced and walked on eggshells around white folks.
Facts.
Always. Whether they Jews or Gentiles. We always got to tap dance and preserve, Karen's and Chad's feelings and shit. Or even fucking Benjamin. We got to look out for their feelings. We have to preserve their feelings while they rob us and take us to the goddamn bank.
Benjamin too.
So I'm thinking to myself, like, wait a minute, bro. Like, my biggest issue right now is not so much with the dumbasses, even though the Negroes who really don't study this phenomenon or haven't even taken the time, even though they're supposed to be the leaders of culture. They haven't even taken the time to study this shit in a deep and a substantive way so that they can become erudite about it. They haven't taken the steps. But they have taken the steps to try to enrich themselves, to demonstrate that, they live up to the American dream, some Horatio Alger story or some shit like that. Okay, cool, fine. But while you doing that, if you're going to be grandstanding and virtue signaling and talking about what's appropriate or inappropriate in relation to identity politics, racial politics, gender politics, whatever the case may be, at least take time to read and study this shit. Don't give me the Cliff Note version and then act all smug and shit like that. That's the only thing I'm asking for. And most of these guys are smug as a motherfucker. I mean, they'll denounce Kanye and then apply the same racist tactic, which is to dismiss it as craziness. That's that Drape-to-mania talk. This nigga is crazy.
Kanye plays their game.
Oh, look, let me ask you a question.
That they can play.
Let me ask you a question. What definition am I reading when I say this? A person who presents a false narrative to another group or person, thereby lending them to doubt their own perceptions, become misled, disoriented, or distressed, oftentimes for their own benefit. Normally, this dynamic is only possible when the audience or individual is vulnerable, such as in an unequal power relationship or fearful of the losses associated with challenging the false narrative. What did I just read the definition of?
A pious agent.
Gaslighting.
Exactly. Exactly. Salute, Uru. Kimo Sabe.
Yeah. Indeed. Indeed.
If I can... Go ahead, Black Uhuru. Go ahead. Sorry.
Well, if I can jump in here, because there are lots of this Kanye thing that I can touch on. The music, I have some tangential connections to the music industry. So to some degree, I like to talk about that. But I want to say this. Notice how the critiques of what Kanye do almost never focus on the actual substance of his words.
Right.
They'll say he's hateful. They'll say he's being anti-Semitic. He's being harmful. He's being They'll use these adjectives, these very
Dangerous.
convenient and very sort of cliched adjectives, but they'll never focus on the actual detail of what he say, and they won't challenge the merits of the specifics of what he say. Notice that. And they've been able to get away with that for generations because they've taken such a great moral high ground on the issue of anti-Semitism, if you will. They don't even have to even challenge the substance of what you say. All they have to do is say it's hateful. All they have to do is say it's anti-Semitic, and that's all they have to do. Mm-hmm. It's a rather, when you talk about gaslighting, I mean, it's a rather wondrous and a very convenient technique that they've devised over the course of generations. Like whether it's Kanye, Farrakhan, they never talk about, brothers have broached these subjects many times over the generations, and they never talk about the detail. Spike Lee touched on it in Mo Better Blues, in the treatment of blues singers. Nobody ever talks about that. That was in part a critique very similar to what Kanye has described. And that is how you have this racist, essentially apartheid in the music and entertainment business.
Okay,
so this is not a new subject that black men broach at all.
It's not new, but under the rubric of progressive woke culture, I've said this before. I'm going to do a show maybe sometime this week about public relations and corporatism and its marriage to the state and how they use public relations as a means by which to hijack the whole rhetoric of oppression and racism. And
can I jump in real quick?
Yeah, go ahead.
I wanted to also mention something that I find just absolutely the definition, the flat out definition of the word woke is awakened, aware, cognizant, understanding, truth. And the fact, every time I watch the news and I see anybody, oh, they're woke. I'm saying that is so interesting. That is that they're focusing, and the fact it's also a black vernacular. It's very, I just wanted to point that out as well, is what exactly, who is their enemy and what exactly is it that they're targeting and what they're so afraid of.
They're not afraid of anything. This is like people say, racism is fear. I don't think it's fear at all. I think it's disgust is what I think it is. And black people don't have an issue doing business with nobody or having children with nobody. We idolize these foreign motherfuckers. If anything, we detest each other so much. Like, shout out to Kenneth Clark and the dial test.
Facts.
Super facts.
We detest each other. And I don't have a problem. Look, Kanye can be wrong as two left feet. He can be wrong as a motherfucker. He can be prejudiced as a motherfucker. But all this racist shit, he's like he about to try to bring in the Holocaust for real, like he really wants to round up Jews and burn them in a fucking concentration camp or gas them. That's bullshit. And you know it's bullshit. He's pissed off about your business practices and your exploitation and your usury and jacking and thieving him for his ideas. That's what he pissed off about. Now, he might not be able to articulate it with acumen and adroitness because, I'm not to say that he couldn't if he had the opportunity to learn more, but goddamn it, every man can't learn everything.
That character has a historic trail. That's the thing.
But wait a minute, though. I just want to finish this. I'm going to let y'all have the floor for a good little while. Okay? But here's my only problem. You mean nobody from the black intelligentsia class is gonna sit out here and they just gonna sit on their hands and say nothing while this Negro gets lynched in the public sphere over this bullshit.
I'm watching them.
Everybody is just gonna sit here. I'm indicting the black intelligentsia. I'm saying y'all some bitch ass niggas and some bitch ass women is what I'm saying. Because y'all have full knowledge of what racism actually is. Many of you are experts in this. Ain't no fucking think pieces on it, nothing. No, wait a minute now. What he said might be a little ill or whatever, but there's some truth coming from what he's saying, and here's why. Ain't nobody saying none of this?
Nope.
Nobody, nowhere.
Everybody's afraid.
Here and watch his ass get whipped and flogged in the public square.
Everybody's afraid. Everybody's afraid. In their response, they're actually basically proving everything that Kanye said.
Exactly, they're proving.
Exactly.
But see, they've got the
hold on, wait a minute.
anti-defamation.
Let me respond to one other thing. Kanye might be contradictory, but Kanye changed the whole game when it came to rap music and made it okay for motherfuckers to break through the thug ceiling, which did exist in hip hop.
Facts.
He came out with skinny jeans. Wasn't nobody wearing no fucking skinny jeans. Everybody was dressing like the diplomats and shit.
And a cardigan.
Everybody was wearing motherfucking baggy pants and shit. Then he came out and said, motherfuckers is calling me gay. Stop fucking with gay people. Now you got gay rappers out here and shit.
He sure did.
Yep.
He came out here and changed some shit for the good. Now, even if he's wrong, the businesses, first of all, let me just say this shit. These corporations are phony as $3 bills. Because they don't give a fuck about niggas no goddamn way. That's the thing I'm trying to point out. They act like they are so moral. All this shit is just public relations, man. So stop selling us this fake bill of goods that you actually give a fuck about diversity and inclusion. I'm talking about Adidas. I'm talking about the university system. I'm indicting all these phony ass white motherfuckers and all the sycophants. Okay? Bottom line, these people, man, ain't saying shit. Man, it ain't what the evil people do and the vile people do. It's what the so-called good people do or when they don't do.
Exactly.
So you're gonna sit and I saw this shit play out not just with Kanye. I saw it play out with Dave Chappelle. I saw it play out with Prince. I saw it play out with Michael Jackson.
Mm-hmm.
All I really know is that they don't really care about us.
Cosmo.
You see it play out. And I ain't saying these people are perfect. They might be fucked up. But I know they ain't as perverse as the motherfuckers who calling them perverse. I know that for a fact. You want to talk about some fucking perversion? And please don't get into the anti-woman shit with me, Kiana. I'm not here for that right now. You know what I'm saying? Because we can go down all different people have different men and women have different fucking orientations to the world and have different concepts of what men are and what women are. Because we lived in the world differently. I don't care what you say, but a penis, having one makes you look at and see the world differently than having a vagina. We ain't got to sit down and piss. That's one thing that's gonna make you have a whole different orientation to the world. Just one simple thing. I don't want to hear all that shit about motherfucking rap is misogynistic. Women are fucking misandrous. You see this shit all day, every day.
Yep.
Like one's more
We
important
act
than
like
the
this shit ain't tit for. We act like there's no balance in any of this. And all of the categories, that's why I showed Curry, especially with what he had to say about racial categories and what black people think and what they know and how they are orientated towards their own identity. Prior to civil rights legislation, all this intersectional shit would never have come to pass. Because black people didn't have genders, especially in slavery. There is no gender in slavery. You're a boy, perpetual boy. She's a fucking girl. Ain't no womanhood or manhood in black people. You're a sheep, a fucking cow, a pig. You're a piece of property. That's all you are. That's all you are. Now we trying to take categories. Oh, well, that's because white women said it. And let me just show you, like, I get so tired of hearing niggas say this shit. Like they know something. I'm so sick of hearing this shit, bruh. Let me show you what white women thought about our ass during fucking slavery and segregation. You wanna know what they thought about our ass? Fuck them goddamn niggas, don't let them infiltrate our schools. Now we taking they talking points and acting like this is the new morality. This is our new morality. They at the lynchings and shit, just with the men. Oh, we're so oppressed, we can't go anywhere. You can take your ass to a lynching, can't you?
In that welfare office.
You scoffing it. Now these your Ace Boone Coons. Now it's all a woman thing right now, huh?
Yep.
It's a gender thing now.
They switched up quick.
They'll hang your ass from a tree just like they'll hang a man from a tree. Even though they hung us more. Like it's all a woman thing now. Look at the little white girl looking in glee as the man getting burnt and shit and having his genitals cut off.
I was gonna say after they castrated him.
They part of the Klan. Oh, well, we're so oppressed. We don't have the ability to do anything. We have no political power or social influence. Look like they having some fucking influence to me.
Shout out to Daughters of the Confederacy. I'm just saying.
They'll hang a woman too.
Hey, that's your down ass chick right there. There you go.
Hey, hey, GG, I gotta cut out, man.
Now all of a sudden, it's all about. Well, you know, you don't like the. First of all, sexism and racism have no comparison, bruh. There's no comparison.
None.
Women, on account of being women, were never transported across a fucking ocean in order to serve perpetual labor for nobody under the threat of death. Never happened. These women look like they oppressed as a motherfucker to you. It look like they doing some oppressing as far as I'm concerned. They look like we're not free to roam around the cabin. We all have to be barefoot and pregnant and stay in the house. It's a goddamn lie. We can look at the archives. Oh, we couldn't own property, but they own slaves though. They buying and selling slaves though.
At 43% majority. 43%.
Oh, we want the states right now. You got niggas in this space is where I ain't trying to disrespect them, but talking about states' rights.
Alabama, goddammit, Alabama.
I want my state to have rights.
This is white school, guys.
I'm like, what the fuck are y'all thinking? Are you this dumb as a motherfucker? Like, are you like you believe anything that the popular media tells you? You roll with whatever is popular at the moment. Because we don't have any cultural memory. We may have had it, but we damn sure don't have it now. So everybody's coming up with these identity categories, talking about how oppressed they are. What the fuck you gonna do with your oppression? Aggressively ask for some money, some gimmies, some goodies, and some grab-ems? At the end of the day, we still ain't got shit. All of the motherfucking diversity and inclusion ain't knocked a dent in the black-white wealth gap. It ain't done a fucking thing. All the women being elevated or whatever ain't done shit to close the gap. Black women or whatever the case may be. We still broke as a motherfucker out here. All I'm saying is, and I've said this before, I will be quiet after this. Gender politics is playing musical chairs with extant or existing structures. Putting a woman in a motherfucking position of power is no more likely to change the basic structure of society than putting a fucking nigga It is the head of the chief of police in the fucking corrupt police department anywhere in the country. If the system is how it is, if the person doesn't buck the system and alter radically the structures and the institutions and the policies therein, you're gonna get more of the same shit. That's why you can get niggas in Nigeria wearing wigs and shit.
That shit's still got me fucked up.
Look, there
Man.
are black fire chiefs and black police chiefs who live in terror of their staff. Believe me, they do not run those departments. Not really.
Same way. It was the same way in Reconstruction, man. That's literally how you get the white league and the damn red shirts and all of that. I mean, Wilmington, what was it? Wilmington, North Carolina. It's exactly the same thing that happened. They did the same thing in Louisiana, same thing in Texas, same thing all through Reconstruction. It has never been a modality that we're talking about a system, and these motherfuckers want to talk about feelings. You're being racist because what you said, even though you own and control shit structurally, I feel bad, and that leads to hate. What in the world is anyone supposed to do with words and don't own no institutions that can actually oppress you and determine whether or not you got a job? I mean, he kept Jesse Jackson from his run from goddamn president off of a word, and probably got X amount of people deleted from politics, from job opportunities, from business opportunities, just from saying something. You just say, look at the Anti-Defamation League. And the last thing I'm gonna say on that, it wouldn't be so bad if the majority of these things was literally piggyback and copy and pasted off of the work we did to put these things here. It's like we do it, and then if they're not directly capitalizing on us directly, they capitalize on the work we did, put their name and face on it, and in front, we all in the same boat together.
Always.
Right. Hey, I don't mean to interrupt, man. I appreciate you guys for having me on. I gotta go, but I'm gonna drop down, man, and I'll be listening to you guys while I'm driving. I gotta get back to work. I appreciate it, man.
I mean, I'm sorry we drove you out of the conversation, Devin. You're welcome to come back at any time.
No, man, no, never that, man. I just enjoy hearing you guys speak, man.
We're just passionate about what we're talking about, and just have a good one, bro, and you can listen to us as you drop.
I'm gonna listen to you as I drive, man. I just wanted to just basically share my outrage, man. I don't really have a whole lot of words right now. Anyway, I'm just pissed off at what's going on and the fact that the people who should know better act as though they just turn a blind eye to it on purpose to save their little coins in their pocket. So, but all right, man, I appreciate you guys for having me. I appreciate you, GG.
Hey, appreciate you, brother. Appreciate you.
All right, man. You guys be good.
All right, brother.
Get in, brother. I know you ain't been in.
Kanye did not say a single lie. Okay, he said some offensive things, but just because you're offended does not mean you're right. You can tell me I got a beer belly. That's kind of offensive, but it is in fact true. so I can be offended, but that is in fact the truth. Okay. So I mean, the Jews got to take it on the chin this time. And you see, what I think the paranoia really is because they had their hand in the Black Lives Matter cookie jar, the tranny cookie jar, the whole personal pronouns and all that BS. They got their hands in all of the craziness that's befalling the world right now, including the jab and the V itself. And they're afraid that if Black America starts to waken up, like we are waking up with the Black American Party, and you got Chappelle, you got Kanye. I mean, there's a lot of people starting to speak up that there's going to be commonality between Black America and white America. You see, that's a divide and conquer game that 2% of the population is using to control the whole world, having us at each other's throat.
What are the points of commonality, though?
Well, the fact that we need a functional economy, we need our freedom of speech, we need our freedom of to bear arms, we need to be able to purchase land and not have the land in our country purchased.
Kanye is saying all that is there. It's just that once you attain level of, some being permitted to access it, you're not given full access. The whole thing is he is okay. Let's say that he being a billionaire wasn't his goal, but once he did become that, he utilized that to expose the system. Now, if the system would have been acting right, he wouldn't have said nothing. Let's so let's keep this.
Yeah,
100.
perhaps, but I mean, what we're
So-
trying to play the true Scotsman, with him. I mean, so what? I mean, we always
no, not so what, not so what, because then he's forced to stand upon a tribal perspective. He shows that Jewish means something different other than just participant. Racial or ethnicity category to the system. It has a power dynamic behind it. And when you see how it interacts with blackness in the relationship of so-called Jewishness or blackness or whatever,
parasitical relationship. Yes.
Well, okay. Well, let's say okay, that's the goal, right? I'm not against them for that, because how they have been in the world. I don't give a fuck. You know what I'm saying? My only thing is black people not understanding that they have a worth that others see worth siphoning off of.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? For this to be an understanding of, one, exposes the system.
Yes.
And it exposes that if they've been operating off the worth that the system adheres to, then I mean it's been a lesser worth, no matter if you get at the level of a billionaire or if you're at the level of one of those preyed upon and fall into being a statistic or whatever.
And this is a very critical time because they're trying to usher in their new world order. They're trying to finally take. I'm personally, my dog in the fight is that they don't succeed. So
it's already here, cuz. What you talking about? Don't succeed.
Well, I know I ain't got the jab. I don't know about y'all.
It ain't got nothing to do with no jab, bro. Look,
comply.
Okay, you heard what Gigi said, right? The fact that there's no one else at that level that is defending him, that is standing up on some level to say that, well, you know what, Kanye has a point, even though he may have presented it in the most unrefined manner. You can't say, come on, he's not the only one at that level or close to it, to where they've encountered those same cultural barriers placed there by the fucking small hats or whatever. Come on, man. They don't have to name names. What they can do is point out the framework. They can point out the system and then call that into an accountability where you force maybe somewhat more of a generalized analysis.
But on an esoteric level, they can't put the genie back in the bottle. So we can't go back. So now it's open for discussion by anybody.
So let me say this, right? I'm in agreement to some degree. Look, the average white person, man, is not a multimillionaire. So Kanye got billionaire problems or whatever, millionaire problems, okay? But he's having nigger moments, bumping his head up against a system that would prefer to be able to put him into a category and keep him there, okay? Kanye is like, you're not about to keep me in a category because my mama told me I could be any goddamn thing.
Fact.
I mean, I'm to be perfectly honest, and his daddy, is there with him as well, and also told him he could do and be anything. But now he realizes that, look, we can't be and do anything because the system is fucked up. And these elites who control the system, they don't play by the rules. They don't even play by the rules that they set out for themselves. They play by a whole different set of rules, and they're exploitative, they're thieving, they engage in usury, and then they act like they're victims. That's the issue I got. But the problem is, like this brother Adrian Thomas pointed out, people don't know the history of Adidas and that it was started by Nazis.
Yep.
Adidas is a Nazi company, man.
So why they drop?
Like literally, like literally. They used to make war clothes and shit.
Traveling the road of Nazism is a dark road. Man. That road includes, for example, international business machines, most commonly referred to as IBM. Traveling that road of Nazism, that's a real dark road.
Hey, look, that's even before Project Paperclip. And the first time people heard that was the Marvel series. That was a real thing. Some people only heard about that.
That's a real dark road. There's a
that started
Hugo Boss
NASA.
road. There's a real dark road. There's a Coco Chanel road. There's a real dark road.
Man, and it ain't even really go nowhere. And see, that's the whole thing. When you're at that level, it's why I made that correlation of the difference between force and power. Kanye's experience, and just like Gigi's talking about, what it's like to be at the top with no level. I think it's something goofy like 2,000 something, under 3,000 millionaires. It's like for every several million people, it's like maybe 1 billionaire. It's like a fraction of a fraction of a fraction of a percentage of people, and Kanye's one of them.
Yeah, he got FU money, man. He got FU money, and he knows it.
But here's the thing, fam. What I'm saying, I gotta highlight the point here. The point I'm making here with that is, in spite of his money, right? He doesn't have the network, and that's what we mean when we talk about the difference of systems, because they're trying to give him labels that don't even apply. But the moment someone even looks at what this Anti-Defamation League does, you look at all of these different institutions that were supposed to be and presumed to be in place by Black people for Black people, and then everybody else showing up, they've managed to find a way to both occupy the W in white supremacy while simultaneously being the top of every minority group that exists, and do so on a global level. And the moment you point that out, the Anti-Defamation League comes rappelling in from the damn ceiling, saying you hate Israel. That's power. That's power.
And they maintain biggest victim status, although they are the biggest victimizers of all of the rest of the races of the world. At least since the year 1900, when Rothschild took over the British Bank.
But the thing is, it's not about them being victimized. It's more along the line of the people understanding that they're being eaten on. Acknowledge that they seek to place you in a position to where you can be victimized upon. You know what I mean?
Right.
And I think that's what Kanye's running into. He's at that level, but like y'all said, he don't have no help. Well, you got to be at that level at the national level.
But
you can't sustain that on your own.
But here's the deal, though, right? Look, I really like Ye. He is who he is. He's outspoken. You know he's gonna fucking push the envelope, right?
Right.
He's been that way. Okay. We like him when we like him, but okay, now Kanye has said something that's just egregious. But is there any truth in what he said?
Right.
Like that's my only thing. So at the end of the day, do I think Ye is a narcissist, idealist? Do I think he's a creative genius? Yes. Do I think that sometimes, he speaks out of straight pure emotion and doesn't filter his thoughts to his own detriment? Yes. But I'm more worried about a culture that grandstands and virtue signals under the rubric of equality and fairness and justice, when their very inception, these motherfuckers have been dirty to the core and they still dirty.
Right.
Now you have the nerve to be indignant and to use moral and justice type language when a person who comes from the gutter, I ain't gonna say he was from the bottom of the gutter, but I mean, we all Black in America.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So anybody can have a nigger moment. Oprah had hers. Henry Louis Gates, called him Skip Gates, had his. Okay? It don't matter. You can still be niggerized. Okay? Those are just the facts. If the system says that Blacks are less valuable than the average whoever, okay? Right. That's just the way this system has been arranged, for right or for wrong. But to say that words as opposed to systems, to say that resentment as opposed to managed and controlled violence and exploitation,
right,
is to me, to compare the one with the other. See, what they've done is they've appropriated the moral language of race and racism to their own benefit. That's my issue. That's why I showed the curry. So you got a lacuna between Black people who've been doing the work, talking about systems and institutions and structures. And then you got white people who come along and just appropriate the whole fucking tradition for the sake of not being called out or being able to comfortably keep the systems in place without any pushback. So this is a strategy that these people utilize, whether they Jews or Gentiles. They utilize the strategy to prevent the pushback at all. And the sad thing is, you got the majority of black folks co-sign. Well, I ain't gonna say the majority because I can't say I'm actually registering the majority of what black people think or how they reflect on the issue by means of social media. But what I can say is the black people who are on social media, man, and the black people in rap, even black people in the NBA, and I gotta talk about this shit, but I haven't, man. They sat there and watched this Udoka motherfucker get high-tech lynched as well.
Yep.
So I'm
They
saying
sure
the
did.
niggas in the NBA,
They sure did.
they might got a lot of basketballs, but they ain't got no nuts.
Yeah.
I'm gonna tell you, look, I'm gonna do a show on this tomorrow, but here's gonna be the main premise of the show. Corporations are dictating what people can and cannot do in terms of company policy, even of legal actions. But the legal actions don't fit in with the ethos or the, you know, like the policy of the company. Who the fuck told a corporation they could tell me what the fuck I can do with my dick? I don't give a fuck if the bitch is married or not. If she busted wide open, I'm gonna tell her bring it back. I mean, personally, I don't dirty bag, but I'm saying I should have. Look, most of these NBA niggas got 4 or 5 side bitches.
Of course.
And they girls got girlfriends, and they be bringing girls in. And if you don't like it, well, then keep away from yours then.
Yeah. Yeah.
Keep it 100 now. Most of these niggas got 3 or 4 side bitches, and they side bitches got side bitches, and they wife got side bitches and side niggas. Now,
Dennis
all of a
Rodman said
sudden,
the NBA. Dennis Rodman said the NBA is 50% money and 50% pussy.
Yep.
So at the end of the day, how you gonna tell me who I can fuck if she giving it up? Oh, she works with our company, so you can't fuck her. However, if you want to get a sex change, we'll fund that really quickly. If you want to blow a nigga's ass out, go ahead.
And if you're in the military or in the prison, we'll even expedite the process.
Damn.
So, well, you know, if that teenager there is thinking about like being a good old gal, and you know your good old gal wants to get a penis, we'll take care of that right away.
That's what I'm saying, man. We're at a time where it's time somebody spoke up.
Speaking up ain't gonna change that shit. The thing is, all you can do is bolster your culture in the opposite direction.
Well, remember what we said. Even with what he's doing, you got Killer Mike getting targeted now, and all he's doing, he doesn't have as much money, but he has much more ability to organize his point, and he does have boots on the ground making certain things happen. All it takes is some buzzwords to occur. So even if they are having Kanye serve as some kind of, you know, they want to symbolically, ritually sacrifice black men, which is the ritual the United States has engaged in on a regular level. And folks that know what that means on an esoteric level, we already know that Black Death has been the main energy source to fuel the finances of this company and this system we call America. So
Black male death.
Black male death specifically. So when you've got individuals stepping out against that, and now the GOAT that's supposed to be sacrificed don't accept to feed you off for him before you cut his throat, you got a problem that happens, and it's reverberating right now.
Yeah, so, you know, my only thing about all of this is that, look here, man, we don't let white people convince black folks. It's one thing to know it and to not say nothing about it, and it's another thing to not know it and to say something about it, not even knowing what the fuck you talking about, for the name of actually, you know, living up to the standards and the ideals of justice. We've gotten to a point. I'm gonna tell you, if it gets any worse than what it is, there will be no resistance. Black people just may as well just bend over and say, "Fuck it." There is nothing for us to achieve or attain.
Black men, especially.
We may as well just go ahead and say, "Fuck it." It's a wrap.
Well,
it's done. I mean, don't even say shit about nothing at all. Now, but the fucked up thing is, see, here's the fucked up. Wait a minute. Here's the fucked up part. I don't want to hear no rappers. I don't want to hear no rappers talk about how manly they are when you got the nerd, the geek, actually saying shit that's rattling motherfuckers' cages. And I don't want to hear that. I don't want to hear the. He got more nuts than most of you so-called hard rock niggas because all your energy is directed to other niggas.
That's right.
You safe, nigga. You niggas are safe. You safe, nigga. You ain't got the spirit of a Huey P. Newton or Eldridge Cleaver or none of them. You ain't got the Nat, Turner spirit. You ain't got the Frederick Douglass spirit. Frederick Douglass beat the slave master ass.
Yep.
Okay? And ran away.
A.G. Gaston.
Yeah.
You niggas is playing games trying to sell products acting like that's what manhood is about. Like that's all this shit is. And then the fucked up thing is 50 got one son, right?
Yeah.
Who the fuck he gonna leave his bread to?
He done already denied him.
Well, I think he has several children now. Don't he have
I don't
another
know
child
about
by another woman?
I don't know.
He denied his firstborn.
All I'm saying is, this is happening to men all over America, even white men, though. Unfortunately, But I mean, the whole point is, y'all put this shit into play. This is chickens coming home to roost with them motherfuckers too, because they basically all of this shit was a subversive. I go again. I refer back to Curry. It's him saying it. Not even though the implications, he probably won't draw many than I do with the same amount of vitriol that I do. However, all of this the introduction of sex was a subversion, trying to deny black people the capacity to live freely in American society and to be left the fuck alone, or to be able to have equal access since they put their necks on the chopping block in wars and all this shit and put so much labor in. Like, wait a minute, you mean I can't have none of this? You mean I gotta go to the back of the bus? You mean I gotta go drink at a fucking filthy water fountain? You mean I gotta go shit at the worst toilet in this motherfucker?
After you had already taught me how to kill a white man.
Man,
I'm just saying, so at the end of the day, bro, I ain't got all the answers myself. I don't know what the trajectory is, but I know, first and foremost, I don't want to hear none of these so-called revolutionary, these so-called hard rock thug niggas. All they know, it's easy to hit a target right next to you.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. You ain't no David slaughtering Goliath. You niggas are not Moses.
Yeah, but see, they sellouts in the first place. That's why they gangster. That's why they studio gangsters. Man. They know the toxicity that is bringing to our society, community.
But the easiest thing in the world that Kanye could have done is just chill. For all of us who are critical of Kanye, this guy was worth what? $2 billion, $3 billion. And he had to fucking do is do what they wanted him to do, and it was smooth sailing for the rest of his life, his children's life, and 5-10 generations after. That's all he had to do.
He could have done the Jay-Z.
The fact that he did not do that,
he ain't lost no money.
Even if we disagree with some detail of what he's done, the fact that he chose not to do that, and very publicly and very overtly not to do that thing, that, in my view, is a level of courage that black men really need to evaluate.
That's what I'm trying to say.
So look, let's wrap this shit up. You know what I'm saying? It's almost 3 hours in. I'm gonna start with Devin. Some last words and comments, man.
Yeah, man. At this time, at this particular junction in history, this particular jester, Kanye, is the messenger that we need. He may not be perfect, but none of us are perfect. And his decisions may not be perfect, and his words may not be perfect. But the fact that he is shedding light on something that all communities in this country, black, white, and otherwise, know that we know, okay? We have always known. And like they said, man, if you want to know who rules you, then figure out who it is you can't criticize, right? Who it is you can't mention, you can't talk about. And right now we're at the verge of losing this country, man. I mean, we're at the verge of losing this country. They're telling us to our face, you will own nothing and you'll be happy. If that's not a punk out, I don't know what it is. I mean, y'all, it could be a gaslight, but to me, I think it's a declaration of war. And it's time for people to wake up. It's time for people to wake up. It's in the front. What's happening, with the abortion, with the letter community, with the whole, transitioning children, aborting children after they've been born already. I mean, they will not stop. It will not stop. So yeah, I think I applaud Kanye, overall, and he's taking bullets that he really doesn't have to be taking. He knew that. He knew that before he opens his mouth. But I'm not going to dismiss him and say that he's insane, because that is, just like Chappelle said, that's dismissive. You're dismissing everything he said. No, I listened very in-depthly. Kanye is very intelligent, man. Very intelligent, very, very sensitive person. And if you listen to what he's saying, instead of, just laughing like he's a comedian, then you'll understand that, you don't have to agree with his point, but he is speaking sincerely. He is
all
speaking.
right, my brother. You said a mouthful on that one, so thank you for winding us down.
Thank
Appreciate
you,
brother. You're always welcome here. But I'm just ready to shut down, so I'm, love you, my dude. So I'll holler at you later.
Thanks for having me on, man. I appreciate it.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Respect.
Black Uhuru, man. Take us home, man. Peace, my brother.
Thanks for having me. Thank you very much for having me, Gigi. Great stream and great work you did here. Very much appreciate what you've done. I hope for those who, I hope that this is shared amongst all of our individual and respective cohorts. A lot of very valuable information that you shared early on, supported by the other panelists here. I saw the interview with Tucker Carlson with Kanye. I saw I don't remember seeing any lies told. I saw a very cogent, very clear thinking, very succinct presentation of a lot of different issues that were somewhat funneled through his own personal life and his marriage, and then expanded on broader issues, obviously regarding Black people and abortion in particular, and the havoc that has wrought in Black families over the last 50 years, for example. And as I said before, I see a man who could have very easily lived a very comfortable life as one of the few Black male billionaires on earth.
For sure, man.
Kanye could have just decided I'm just going to chill and do what I'm doing that's making me the money that I'm making, and I ain't got to worry about shit. I can fuck white supermodels. Kanye could have very easily chosen to live that life until they put him in the ground.
There you go, Uhuru, Black Uhuru. Thank you for striking, man. You know what I'm saying? Thank you for coming through and blessing us with some info, man. Appreciate that. That point well taken. You know what I'm saying?
Thanks for having me.
Thank you. Thank you for coming. Okay, before I sign us out, I do want to respond to this. It says, from comment from Ray S, because it's a valid point. It's so funny how Black people were fed into this new Kanye tirade, but didn't get enraged by slavery was a choice rant. So, one of the things is that Black people, I think, for all intents and purposes, unless you say the word nigger to us, which, we typically don't go to the police if you do say nigger to us. We just whip your ass. Okay? Do I think some of the shit he says is stupid as fuck? Yeah. Okay? Just like anybody. Name for me one person who's correct all the time and who has all the answers all the time and speaks, the right lingo all the time. There's nobody on earth like that. So even though I could be disappointed with some of the stupid shit Kanye has said, hey, that's Kanye being Kanye. Okay? He will say whatever is on his mind. sometimes at the wrong time. But shit, one thing you can't say is that he's not an equal opportunity offender in that regard. He'll offend anyone and won't give a shit. I'm not so worried about the comments that he said. I believe, though, that he should have the right to say them and be corrected through dialogue and discourse as opposed to, coercion and cancellation. That's my take on that. But anyway, my brother Nameless, wrap us up and bring us home.
The human condition is all the characteristics and key events of human life, including birth, learning, emotion, aspiration, morality, conflict, and death. And Black men are always expected to somehow solve this. It's tiresome, it's gaslighting by definition, and it's absolutely asinine. Just remember, at the end of the day, anyone can be bigoted. Anyone can express bigotry. Anyone can. But at the end of the day, only people who have a system at their disposal can practice racism. Period. It's the difference between force and power. Go ahead, fam.
Man, that's a lot to say. I don't know how you can say anything more succinct and more poignant than that. I mean, hey, look, racism is a system. I know people think that, I don't mind anybody saying anything, but I wish Black people would stop saying that racism is a feeling, because ultimately what it does is, I wish they would say, I can't say they need to stop. I'm asking them for them to stop, please. However, because I want them to be more aware. But I do feel that, everybody should have a right to express themselves in the public sphere. And we also know that, we need to stop systems. That's what's important. Fuck all the jibber jabber and all the fucking talk and the shit kicking. I'm more worried about motherfuckers stopping me from being able to have a good life and live long and be able to enjoy the fruits of my labor. You know what I'm saying? That's it. So thank you, Nameless. So glad you showed up here today, man. Appreciate you, bro.
Os.
Take us home, Rogue's son, man.
Hey, Doc, I think Nameless put the nail in the coffin. Shit, we'll leave it off on now. Thank y'all for the sharpening, and I'll see y'all for more lessons in these YouTube streets. Respect.
See you later on these YouTube streets, my boy. Peace. So look, y'all, we done came to the end, man. Do I agree with everything Kanye says? Of course not. But do I think he should be, canceled by corporations who flaunt like they really actually are dedicated to diversity and inclusion? Fuck no, because I believe that's bullshit. I think we're giving corporations too much power, and I think too many people in the public have become like the mob of Roman citizens at the Colosseum, yearning and thirsting for blood as they receive blood and bread and bullshit and entertainment at the Coliseum. It needs to fucking end, man. This is something that the left is pushing. And it ain't sanctimony, man. It ain't righteousness. It's buffoonery. And with having said all that, man, I'll catch y'all on the next one, man. I'll see y'all later, man. I'm exhausted, man. It's time for me to take a chill pill, eat some good food, man, and lay on back. I'll let y'all on the next one. Peace.